Joe, what do nearsighted gynecologists and puppies have in common?
What?
Wet noses. Why do mermaids wear seashells?
Why?
They outgrew their bee shells. See, because they're bruised and they're bigger, and it's like,
Well, they're becoming women.
Yes, hello. Are they?
Girl,
And?
you'll be a mermaid soon.
Hey, this is Jacques,
I'm Joe.
and welcome to Carnival Personnel.
Super Bowl edition.
The post-glow of the Patriots' 38-24 win over the hapless Los Angeles Rams.
I thought it was more 24-27.
As long as he won.
Yeah.
Fourth wall, we are 48 hours away from kickoff, but I got a good feeling, Joe. Got a good feeling.
You had that same feeling last year.
Shut it. But the year before, I had a good feeling, too.
True.
Anyway, so we'll talk about that in sport. But more importantly, let's move on to fat shaming, week number 3.
Wow.
So got on the scale the other day.
It laughed.
A quaint 261. But the guys from FNH, and maybe I should throw you on the next group text about this, but when I started skating a few weeks ago, talked about at length here, I sent a video, and I've been doing it every week since then. I couldn't go Thursday because I had to go to New York for a business thing, drive out there Thursday morning. So I had to go Tuesday, and it had the same lineup online schedule. I get there early because they always let me out on the ice. Public skating. Public skating. I did anyway. So it's like the only window I had this week. And I'm like, I'm determined not only to just lose 80 pounds by Memorial Day, but to, I'd say, lead the team in scoring. But I haven't done that before. Why, let's be a little realistic.
You led the team in scoring with the ladies.
Hello.
Hence the Powerade Zeros that we're drinking, courtesy of you today.
So I'm on day 5 of no soda, no bread, and no junk, and trying to stand under 1,500 calories. It will work down. I'm doing the MyFitnessPal thing again. And
MyFitnessPal, yeah. MyFitnessPal, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
and the best thing about all it is you just log everything that you eat, and it like totals it up, and it breaks down.
I usually log everything that I eat. Isn't
right
that how it
into
works?
The propeller. He walked right into the propeller. But the best thing about it is if you're honest with it, and it doesn't matter what you're eating, you're diligent about putting things in there. Every time you go to eat something, I hear my mom's voice saying, "Honey, you don't need to eat eating. Honey, you're too old now."
Was your mom like June Cleaver?
No, my mom.
What does your mom really sound like?
That's Sean. You don't need that. What are you, a porker? Honey, I'm just worried about you. Now, as she's saying it, she will literally, and anybody who's been around, you will see this Sunday, as my mom is handing me like a Patriots cupcake. Honey, you really don't need to be eating this food that I'm throwing in your fat little face.
Right. You want some meatballs with your lasagna? Oh, wait, you don't eat the meat because you're one of them.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of meat in it.
And then she does the Tinkerbell thing with her hand like Mr. Roper on.
Yeah. But so that's it. And I know Sunday I'm falling off the wagon. So if I can get 6 solid days and Sunday be still no soda, if I could go no soda watching the game and just eat the stress food. But I've worked out 5 days this week. 5 days soda free, 5 days bread free and snack free. I get through tomorrow. It will be day 6 of all that. Plus the absolute overwhelming anxiety. I've got to be burned off like 30 pounds in the past 24 hours.
You know what must be the most exercised muscle in your body is your thumbs, because you're killing it on Twitter. How can I can't, go 10 seconds on Twitter without seeing you sort of reply to or retweet something Patriot-oriented. One would think that you would be a Patriots nut.
Yeah, or as I like to call it, a lot of people call it Patriot porn. Like all the clips. And my favorite thing that I think I tweeted out 1,000 times is every time I see somebody post the same montage of all the talking heads from mid-season, from the eve of the playoffs, talking about how the Patriots are done, they won't win a game, and doubling down after round one that they can't possibly win in Kansas City. And my favorite thing is when somebody posts a highlight from either the Chargers game or the Kansas City, not by a Patriot player, and it's always the same. And this is when the Chargers won the game. Wait, hold on. I'm being told the Chargers did not win the game. That this was, in fact, made it a 28-point lead at this point for the Patriots, which they went on to win. So, yeah, I'm in total dick mood. We all know that by the time somebody's listening to this broadcast, I'm more insufferable than normal or on a complete media and friend block out. I'm not returning calls, texts, staying off Twitter. And
you're only accepting calls from Domino's Pizza.
Exactly.
Stress eating your way back to $2.75.
Staying home and eating my feelings. Mm-hmm. The wife hates that, by the way. What she'll say to me, it's like, oh, what are you eating? My feelings, and I've said that in front of my oldest one, who's now repeated it, which she hates. And to her, I say, am I lying? You might call it vanilla ice cream from Trader Joe's. I call it
repressed emotions from episode 4, Daddy Issues.
Still can't get over that one.
Nope.
So that's a fat shaming of the week. Joe.
Yeah.
It's February.
Yeah, happy Groundhog Day.
Black History Month.
Oh, we missed
now.
Yeah.
With Helen Keller Month, I started the show with a Helen Keller joke each week.
Uh-huh.
How far out of line am I if I no, just don't. But I am the senior racist correspondent on the show. Hey, if Martin Luther King Day is in January, why do they get fed? You see, that's the kind of stuff that you won't tolerate for the month.
No.
Do I have to wear a MAGA hat to do it?
A MAGA hat, yeah.
MAGA.
Actually,
can I say maggot? Is that the
yeah,
same
the
thing?
MAGA hat, yeah.
I
think I'm taking a knee during this podcast.
Baby, it's cold outside.
Damn straight. Darn tootin'. Not anymore.
It's
going to be warmed up by the time this airs.
By the time this airs, what is it? Tuesday, Wednesday, supposed to hit like low 50s. Mm-hmm. But it has, like when I got in the car to drive to New York on Thursday, took a screen grab, -3. That's I'm not an expert, but cold. And what I love is when people, no names mentioned, Lotus, don't understand the difference between weather and climate. And no matter how many times you explain to people, okay, global warming melts the ice caps, the ice moves down, it cools the oceans, and as the wind flow comes across the country, yes, the climate as a whole is warming. The earth is warming. And as an effect of the earth warming as a whole, where you live might get colder because of the jet streams and all this stuff. I couldn't explain it as well as our friend Ross, or as well as somebody that the wife saw a breakdown on Facebook and explained to him. And I don't know if you saw, if she liked you, about the Russian prostitutes.
No, I did not see that one.
It's like, okay, Mr. President, it's like this. When you pay a Russian prostitute to pee on your face, it feels really warm. But a few minutes later when you're there, it now feels cold. And even though when one extreme came out hot, it can have an effect. It's still wet and it's cold, and you still paid a Russian prostitute to pee on you.
I saw somebody on Twitter say, climate change is permanent, it causes permanent damage, and weather is temporary. It's kind of like, your head. It's bald, which is permanent, but the comb over is a temporary effect.
Great. That's as good as Russian prostitute. Maybe, yes.
It's a close second.
It is pretty good. So I almost had a fun week. Nobody likes pretending they're a lawyer more than well-paid actors on TV. Mm-hmm. Or our friend John Taylor, or me. And it's just funny how if you know a few legal terms and you're not afraid to use it, like our friend Nick can defend himself in a case that he lost to a dead guy, and he's not our friend, and he's a pedophile. Anyways, but, my niece
allegedly.
My niece is in a landlord, type thing. Long story short, somebody subletted one of the rooms. It's like you rent a room in this place. It's a college thing. It's a college suite, and they rent to college kids, and you're renting 1/3 an apartment. one of the people left, sublet it to somebody who's not paying, and the landlord's trying to strong arm them. And, I'm like, okay, well, just give me everybody's name and number, and I'm happy to call. I know the law. It's like, I've known enough about the real estate law here to know you never want to fucking be a landlord. Ever, 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 ever. Every single law is written for, tenants.
Yeah. Tenants' rights.
And when management and I were house shopping and we were looking for a rental unit in it to set her mom up at the time and down the road have a rental unit in there or multifamily home, the mortgage companies make you take these landlord classes. And I remember in the first 10 or 15 minutes in this 4-hour class, we were looking at each other and we both said, what the fuck are we doing?
Right.
Why would we do this?
That's why there are bars on the windows.
Yeah, so you can't. And so knowing all that and knowing the different things, I told my niece, it's like, look, you're a dumb college kid. Let's put everything out on the table. You're a dumb college kid. The only tool, the only resource they have is to scare the shit out of you. And I read through her lease. It's like, yeah, you're not your brother's keeper, because you and the other roommate are still there. They're trying to, get you guys to fork up this. You're not responsible. They can scare you. There's nothing they can do about it. And I always start off letting people know we can handle this the easy way. And this is it. And I told her, it's like, it costs more to get you out than for you to be there. You got 3 more months of college. You know what I mean? Just stay current and all this stuff. And then unfortunately the next day, I guess the landlord came to this decision themselves and she's like, oh no, he sent us a letter. We're all fine. So you don't have to call him. And I was like,
but I got all this pent up rage. Oh, I got to take it out on my kids again.
Damn it. Now I got to go to the rescue, get a big dog, adopt it, then kick it. And then now I would never rescue a dog.
Right.
Kids. Anyways.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, so you came this close to being unfrozen caveman lawyer.
But so close to actually being. But the best thing is, my niece reached out, asked me for help. I was there and didn't have to do anything. So I get all the kudos for being there for her without actually having to do something. Kids, that's the way to go through life.
Right. That's called marriage.
Do as least as you possibly can, but get as much credit for it. And that's how you become a CEO.
That's how you become president.
Do you want to become president of Texaco Oil?
Sure.
Then wash the sink in there.
Then I'll be president of Texaco Oil?
Doesn't even work here for 10 minutes and already wants to be president of Texaco Oil.
Whatever happened to working your way up?
But, sir, I don't work here.
Not even for 10 cents an hour?
$1.10 an hour.
$1.10 an hour?
I don't want to say how much I'm making.
But let's just say it's a lot. We could do the whole movie for you folks. This could be the podcast, just us reciting the jerk.
2 jerks reciting the jerk.
Oh, God.
Could be the name of the
jerk
podcast.
On jerk. Oh, jerk off.
There you go. So have you kept a running tab of how many people have officially thrown their hat into the ring for the Democratic nominee for president?
I think this morning it was Cory Booker was the latest when I woke up. And I think that was number 8 or 9. And Kamala Harris, of course, was in the center of the row of faces. And I don't know. I saw Kamala Harris and then I saw Elizabeth Warren. And I'm like, it looks like they're kind of making it so that you're focused on one particular person.
My question is, and this is in a good way, any old white guy throw the name in the hat officially yet?
Joe Biden hasn't said no.
He hasn't said no, but I don't know if he's officially jumped in.
What about the CEO of Starbucks? Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, but he's
an independent.
He's running, which, fuck you.
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
Asshole.
But that's the interesting thing when Cory Booker came in. I honestly think there are more women and minorities and minority women running for legitimately throwing their name in the ring with credibility, with resources or
and experience.
But the mechanisms in place to raise the capital and stuff like that.
Yeah.
More of those women minorities running for president than in the entire GOP party.
Yes.
I really think.
Right. Yeah, you would be correct there, sir.
And good. And when you listen to what is what is her nickname? Like keep calling her low intelligence, like Harris. Like that's one of his
Kamala
names.
Harris?
Yeah, like low IQ.
Oh, I didn't.
Kamala
Even,
Harris.
I don't even hear his.
It was months ago when she was pushing back on something. Either way, have you heard her talk?
Yeah.
You know her background?
No.
She's pretty fucking smart.
Yeah.
Like not kind of smart. Like you are kind of smart. I mean, this woman is fucking smart.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, right now, I like Elizabeth Warren. I'm leaning Kamala Harris.
It's both her parents immigrants, both doctors, and I think it was her mom who actually got the tenure position at a university in Montreal when she was like in the 3rd or 4th grade. I mean, yeah, Canada's like America Light, but a lot better. But speaks other languages. She's lived in another country. Her parents are from other countries. She's so much more worldly.
She's worldly. She's a senator. She's a woman of color. She's kind of the package. And in this day and age, you need the package in order to sell to the public. I think Kamala Harris might be the most broad-reaching possible candidate out of the 200 so far.
And she doesn't take shit or suffer fools. And as smart as she is, has the ability to sit down with anybody and have a straightforward conversation. Mm-hmm. No, I'm really excited about the people that
And by the way, she's a senator from California, and California, as you know, is not exactly all blue.
Right, but she's won in landslides. Mm-hmm. What I hope, my only hope, as I say it way too many times, that they don't do the circular firing squad, and something that people have to be careful about. And I wish the Democrats had used more of the awful statements that other GOP members made against Blotus in their whole primary. There was some people who were paying for billboards of all the things that Ted Cruz said about, or that Blotus said about Ted Cruz when Ted Cruz was running against, Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Putting it on billboards. And that's the kind of stuff. It's like you can't have the nastiness in fighting. Because if you're standing on a table bringing out shit on each other, one of the two of you is going to get this nomination. And although you might want it really bad, don't hurt your own party's chance of the final nominee by tearing them down so much in the primaries. You can say, I disagree with Elizabeth Warren's thing on we both want Medicare for all, but this is where I would raise some money and this is how I would differ. Don't get up there and say, listen, bitch.
Well, what's going to stop the Democratic super PACs from operating in tangent to these candidates and saying things, sort of on their behalf, but not really the same way the GOP does? Because GOP tactics, as despicable as they are effective. What's to say that the Democrats aren't going to usurp that and just use that to their advantage as we narrow down to the primaries in a year and a half,
You're not supposed to coordinate with super PACs on your behalf.
Right.
Fun fact: you're not supposed to coordinate with Russia either. WikiLeaks things, different story. But you can come out and say Harris can come out right now and say Booker can come out and say, there's a lot of great people in this. I'm going to support whoever wins. I think I'm the best candidate. Here is why. Instead of saying this is, I'm a better person than Joe. This is why. Just say, hey, this is what I feel confident about in me. You don't have to tear the other person down for you to stand over them. You can elevate yourself and they all have, like we've just said, they're all experienced. They're all well spoken. They're all well educated. They're all worldly and stuff like that. And the head of the food chain with the DNC should pretty much say, here's the mandate. You guys, it's going to get dirty down the road with the other side. Let's not do their work for them now.
Well, I think what happened was, can we look at the DNC from 2016 and how they fucked things up?
Completely
fucked things
Absolutely,
up?
completely.
Now we know that Debbie Wasserman Schultz took the hit for that, and she's gone. But have the Democrats learn from that? Are they gonna get their shit together? Or are they going to be more organized and less less. This person's obviously the candidate for us months ahead of the February.
Hillary
convention.
was the. What do you say when you expect to get the nominee?
Fait accompli. Or like she was the heir apparent.
There was a different word that I'm thinking of. In 2008,
Yeah.
it was her time in 2008.
Yeah.
She had been a senator. She had done very successful things. Obama pretty much came out of nowhere. He wasn't at even the end of his first full term a Senate.
He made a speech.
And literally it all changed. They had a very bitter, contentious runoff between the two of them. As soon as Obama got it, whether she did it out of the lover party, out of country first,
Or she knew where her bread was going to be buttered.
was she the Clinton machinery changed gears and got behind Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it couldn't have been a harder fought. I mean, again, Cinderella story out of nowhere, about to win the Masters Championship. It's in the hole. It's in the hole. But that's, and yeah, Bernie got screwed. Who really knows what would happen if the DNC didn't play the games? But at the end of the day, his half-hearted Bernie bros, hey, I'm voting for Hillary, you should too, wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. It should have been, I'm turning my machinery around for this. This is my one real shot at being president. It ain't going to happen, but I've amassed this war chest, this legions of followers. I mean, if
was Bernie? We're basically saying
I'm not blaming Bernie, to be clear.
Right, but you're thinking that the Bernie campaign should have done more to help support the
100%. The razor-thin margin. I mean, the razor-thin margin. There's 3 or 4 states that we're talking a few thousand.
Like 49, 51 kind of percentage point.
Right, like 50.1, 49.9. Mm-hmm. And you're talking, okay, Bernie's been in Wisconsin where he's had an entire hockey rink of 25,000 people without the rank in the chairs on the floor come to see him speak, who are all pro Bernie. If just the people who came to see him at that one event all voted, either a lot of them either didn't vote, probably, and I don't know the math on this, probably a third didn't vote, a third voted for Hillary, a third voted for Blotus as a protest thing, because you had more people either being disenfranchised. I mean, and again, the same niece that I was just talking with this week, she had just turned 18. Her and my sister drove up to his campaign headquarters in Vermont, made a donation, bought a bunch of Bernie stuff, and she was, because my sister and I have been Bernie fans for a decade, and my niece was completely invested in it, and she wasn't shattered, but was really disappointed. Didn't love Hillary, didn't hate Hillary, but loved Bernie. But a lot of those people didn't turn around, and that's the thing. When you're talking, again, the whole election came down to 3 or 4 states where he could have, and again, I'm not blaming him, but I'm saying this time around, let's learn from the mistakes. Maybe that would have helped. Maybe it wouldn't have hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, all right. Well, hopefully we don't have something as polarizing among this pool of candidates as we did with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton.
And what I do like, being positive, is, this past couple weeks, the House Democrats have been pushing their early agenda. And at the top of the ticket, or at the top of their wish list, which I couldn't be happier about, they are really putting together substantial voter reform. All the basic stuff that you and I have said for years. Why isn't it a national holiday? Why isn't it?
Because Turtle McTurtleson says no.
Right, but it's not going to be his choice. You know what I mean? It's at one point or another, if you can start this ground swelling, it might if the House passes it, but there's also, I'll get to that in a second, but just focusing on the Democrats haven't come in and said, let's go after impeachment. Let's make that priority number one. A lot of them have said, let's make that priority number one, but the Nancy Pelosi's, or as I like to call her,
Nancy,
has come in and said, let Mueller do his thing. We'll get there. We
Right.
got our own investigations and stuff to do. But here are the priorities. Like, as well as we did in the election, yeah, we still know what happened in Georgia. We knew what happened in Florida. We knew what happened in Kansas. There's other towns in other states where the voter rolls were just thrown out, the purges, the restrictions and stuff like that. And they have a very clear, first and foremost, make it a national holiday. One of the biggest things is lives. You got a job. You got to get the kids to school. You might not have the hour it takes to get across town, wait in line or vote, or 8 hours depending on where you are. Make it a national holiday.
Yeah, but that's a slippery slope, because if you make it a national holiday, then everybody's going to be rushing out to their car dealers and getting the election
That's
day
so true.
specials. They're going to be too busy, saving money on mattresses and prostitutes. Wait, do they
Meth?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does meth take a holiday? But the fact that they have this whole thing, it's like, and there's been a lot of lawsuits since the past election making sure in certain places that this shit doesn't happen. Automatically at 18, enrolled to vote. You can opt out. So we're not going to infringe on your right to not vote.
Right.
But if you want to vote, hey, you're registered. If your oldest had to register for what do you have to register for the draft? What do you call that?
Oh,
selective
service, yeah.
You still have to do that when you're 18.
There's no draft. Wink.
Not
Wink.
yet. But the thing is, the Democrats, have come in, have an agenda, a positive one. Like, we're going to get shit done, and we have enough votes to start moving it forward.
Isn't that special?
It really is. On the other hand,
They're trying.
They're very trying. On the other hand, the GOP is still the GOP. It's been a month since the gavel's been passed. The GOP have, I believe it's like 8 people on the House Intelligence Committee. They've lost like 4 seats, so the majority is with the Democrats now. They haven't had their first meeting yet because the GOP hasn't said, here who our 8 members are. We haven't selected our committee yet. Mm-hmm. They've really been dragging their feet. And the funny thing is, the 4 seats they lost, all 4 members the 4 seats they lost, they happen to lose 4 people who were on the committee who either didn't seek re-election or lost their election. So it's like, just give us the same people you had in January and let's get this thing going. And the reason they've been stalling is all these transcripts of all the secret behind closed door meetings that the House have had, those transcripts wouldn't be passed over to Mueller. They were voted on party line. And even though you had Donald Jr. and you go down the list of the people who came in and testified, Mueller doesn't have access to those files yet. Well, the first meeting that they have, that's the first thing that gets voted on. Here you go. Yep. Which the clock's run out. They've now named it. Within another week, he'll have it. And whether there's gold in there, I'm inclined to think there's nothing that's been said in there that he doesn't know about. But you can't bring perjury charges for lying to the Senate until you actually have
the proof,
the transcripts.
Yep. All right. So, what else is next on the World of Awful?
I don't know if you saw it. Like, there's a follow Mike Polk Jr. Guys, remember that the hastily made Cleveland tourism videos?
Yeah.
Big fan of that guy. He's had a comedy show for years, in Cleveland. Really fun follow on Twitter.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to think what college he went to, but some just absolute bitch hole from the same school, just posted herself and her tweet the other day, I just went through TSA wearing my mega hat. Do you read it?
Her name is Caitlin.
Her name
something.
is Clinton McHolison.
Why are they all Irish? Why?
Why? Well, yeah, okay. Because I'm part Irish, so if I do another nationality, people say, "Hey, she's not Portuguese, man."
Yep, right. I got you. Okay, so what about it? Yeah, she went through her.
Did you actually see the tweet that she sent out?
Yeah, she was wearing her MAGA hat and saying, "Went through TSA." To show my support
to troll the TSA,
troll the TSA,
to show them how expendable and unimportant their jobs are, and that their paychecks come from somebody else's paychecks. And so Mike Polk Jr. is like, maybe it's like Kent State or something like that. She goes, well,
Yes,
at least Kent State's football team isn't the most embarrassing thing that from my alma mater, because that's where he went. And
she regularly poses with like machine guns.
She's a big. She has, and I don't want to promote her. Not that anybody who listens to us would give a fuck, but she has some right to carry on campus. Like her whole big agenda is you should be able to carry machine guns on college campuses to protect yourself. And so there's all these pictures of her walking around Kent State, dressed, trying to be seductive, but with a machine gun.
And you know that it's all an act. It's all an
act. Well, no, with the up aboves, it's an act. With people like her, I believe she believes it. And the funny thing is,
I don't know. I think she's an up and comer. She's just like an Ann Coulter kind of personality.
Yeah, because there's money in trolling.
Right.
There's serious money in trolling.
There's like a ton of these like semi-attractive right-wing people who are like, hey, if I lean into this and really like go full Andy Kaufman, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, Alex Jones type thing, then there's money to be had in them our assholes.
And what I love is if you make, and again, I mean, I always go back to Jon Stewart when he would have somebody from the other side on and not shout over them. I mean, there's been a couple times he's had people on like Bolton, and I have no idea why he's coming out, but I said he could come out, and he's come out, and Jon Stewart literally slapped the shit out of him, cerebrally, politely, or the same, I'm not your...
Well, he went on Crossfire.
I'm not your monkey.
But what about the guy who was on the CNBC Mad Money guy?
Right. When he had that guy, that was... Ooh.
Oh, because he would like pose a question, and he would respond, the Mad Money guy would respond, favorably in his favor, and say, well, that's not what you said here. It's like, why did this stock fail? And then, well, I never said to invest in this stock. Well, here's a clip of you telling millions of people to
dump
invest.
Everything you have. So what's great is when one of these idiots spouts just verbal diarrhea about first of all, how many people's paychecks don't come from other people's paycheck at one point or another? It's like,
yeah, where does money come from, Daddy?
Yeah, exactly. But what is absolutely best is
actually that was the question and the answer.
Thank you and thank you. Who are you? Who are you, and how did you get in here? I'm a locksmith, and I'm a locksmith. From Fletch. You're welcome, and scene.
This is self-indulgent theater already.
A little bit, isn't it always? So, trying to get back on the rails. What I love is when the GOP is all about small government, and downsizing. The biggest, most bloated government entities in the past ever has come into effect during government watch. The TSA, came in under the government watch. Department of Homeland Security, the biggest administration, came in under George Bush. As the EPA, I think the EPA came in under Nixon.
He did.
There was a Nixon thing. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
ATF.
I think that was a George. I mean, you go huge bureau by huge bureau by huge bureau, and how many of them? So when you get somebody like that just being stupid and ignorant, and I'm thinking, man, I just hope somebody from the TSA decided she was a security risk.
But here we are. Why does it matter? Like, why?
Right.
Why does it matter? Because she has attention. Why does she get attention? Because people are feeding into it.
And that brings us to Roger Stone, who just loves attention, loves negative attention. What I love, I tell you, I thought the highlight was just him being dragged out at and not dragged out. I mean, but I love the champions of civil rights and how people should not be treated when they're arrested at 4 a.m. by the FBI and all these snowflakes, all these American civil liberty people. Oh, I mean the Fox News people who are so upset the show of force that came to his house and it was so unnecessary.
Oh, that's what Roger Stone said. He said there were more people that came to arrest him at his home than did execute bin Laden.
No, bin Laden was treated better is exactly what he said. And it's like, don't remember bin Laden being able to put his pants on and escorted out peacefully by SEAL Team 6. But moreover, the absolute furor of people like, I can't believe this. He's an old man. It's like, first of all, he's jacked.
Right. He's like in his 60s, and he is a fit 60s.
He's not this feeble. You didn't go and get my mother-in-law with dementia who can't walk out of the house. And what I love is like, how much of an asshole are you that all these FBI people were working without pay to come and get you? Like,
Well, they want to be on TV.
you know, now I was going to say, you know, being on TV. So Roger Stone loves to be on TV, and I love Roger Stone being on TV coming out of the courthouse and all the signs as he came out of the court. Like for me the other day, I kept rewinding and reading the signs. Here are my favorites. This is a sign. Lock him up. Lots of lock him up signs. There's
Hack.
Which one?
No, when I said hack, I didn't mean you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Hello. Guilty as charged. But this is a sign. Lock him up. There's one guy who shows up at a lot of these with Cohen and all, who has a giant traitor sign. Traitor as in Benedict Donald type traitor, not Trader Joe's.
Right.
And my other favorite one, and I looked it up online, and I guess these guys have been doing it for a while, DCBlackTours.com. It's a real thing. It's like people.
It's like you know,
it's a historical tour of like, you know, blacks in DC, what they've built, and you know, I don't know if they go to Marion Barry's favorite, you know, crack corner, but a real history of it. And I read the website. I want to take this tour, and it's great. But these people have been like, dude, we can't afford to advertise. Like we couldn't pay for advertisement this good.
Yeah.
Because literally, I'm the perfect example. I go to DC. I'll go to DC this year. I like doing the tours. And after Spider-Man, I can't go see. Fuck Spider-Man for dropping knowledge on me. I can't go to the Washington
So wait,
Monument.
you're praising DC Black Tours for taking the same advertising campaign tactics as the God Hates Fags people.
Yes.
You know, I went to this God Hates Fags website, and you know what? Maybe they have a point.
Exactly.
No, like, what are you talking about? Like, it's like, okay, so they were opportunists. All right, that's cool. But like, you're only happy because they're not like the God Hates Fags.
Well, where do you weigh on the guy who had the sign? This is a sign.
I went to thisisasign.com, and man, does he hate fags. I mean,
Put the shovel down, Joe. Stop thinking. That's my job. That's my hole to take.
Oh my God, I suck. Help me, Lord.
Stall tactic.
Am I going to have to edit this whole
No.
segment out?
No, because no, it's fine. We didn't.
Yeah, I know it's a joke.
We didn't say anything half as offensive as I usually say every time I open my mouth.
It's a joke. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said
My
that.
life's a joke. Oh, do you have the lyrics? Now we're getting
yes.
to
Oh.
my favorite. This is my favorite time of the week. This is my favorite part of the
Jacques
show.
Indulgent Theater, I call it.
Which is fine. The Jacques Indulgent Theater is me having Joe read some of my favorite song lyrics from some of my favorite bands as my and because I gave our friend John Hunt from Fivehead. I think it's fivehead.com is their website. Absolutely one of my favorite bands. John's one of my favorite musicians. Is also one of my best friends. And
Jeez, why don't you marry him?
in the state of Texas, is that legal yet? Because he lives in Austin. He's single-ish, anyways. But single dad with 2 kids. Ugh, gross. But more importantly,
That sounds like a sitcom.
well,
My Two Dads. My Two Dads too.
I was going to say, we doing a reboot. So this is one of my favorite songs. It's called Asshole Neighbor. And I gave John, I said, here's a list of Joe's voices that I would like it to be done in. I suggest Troy McClure from The Simpsons. And because he didn't get back to me in time, we're going with Troy McClure from The Simpsons.
Troy McClure. Oh, man. That's I guess. So this is a half-assed. My voices are all half-assed. You can hear me through most of them. This is probably my worst voice.
Would you like me to do my McClure impression?
Your Phil Hartman impersonation?
Little...
So this is Asshole Neighbor is read by Troy McClure in like 50 quotation marks. Sugar-coated, half-assed, and make-believe are all the things I knew you'd say. Passing out face first on the trampoline. I know looks pretty bad. But those asshole neighbors are trying to take me away from you, moving targets behind the fence that never speak. And if you want to, then I'd love to take you home. Not here. We can sit around for hours paralyzed. You got what you expect from a fantasy. And does it read like a country song? I wondered how long you've been standing there. Do you think you can help me up? But those asshole neighbors are trying to take me away from you, moving targets behind the fence that never speak. And if you want to, then I'd love to take you home. Not here. We can sit around for hours paralyzed. The last time I told you to change the locks, the first chance you get to call the cops. And I've wasted enough of your time. And I've wasted enough of your time. And I've wasted enough of your time. And I've wasted enough of your time.
Not a dry eye in the house.
Or ass.
That is seriously right up there with your "It's a Wonderful Life."
Oh, you think it's that bad?
I think it's that gold.
All righty. So what now? We end the podcast?
Yeah, we'll get a little fundraising.
Okay.
Because I either don't have any money from what I lost in the Super Bowl, which is my will to live, or I spent it all on Cheetos.
This is our defunct sponsor of the week.
Yeah, right. I can get my own lunch.
Don't eat our new circuses. They're only for kids.
Right. Have fun. Here we go. Kids won't really mind if I eat their circus O's. Hey, an elephant. Monkeys. Clowns. A seal. Whoa!
We're home. What did you eat? Circuses.
New Circus O's, a circus full of...
All right. So, sport. Before we get into the great Patriots victory, have you followed what the good people at Pepsi-Cola have been doing all week in Atlanta?
No.
Atlanta, as we all know.
Or Hotlanta, as I like to, say to
Don't you want to punch people who actually say that?
Right.
But Atlanta is the home of racism and Coca-Cola. They have literally the Coke plant down there. I forget what it's called, but
Pepsi Plantation?
No, but the Coke plant, and that's their home base. And they have
Coke,
like a Six Flags type, like a history of Coke museum, and all these things. It is a Coke town beginning to end.
Not like New York City in the 70s. Am I right, baby?
Pepsi's rolled into town and has spent so much money on billboards everywhere you can see. And at the Coke factory, they have a 2-story statue to the founder of Coke holding out an old-fashioned, glass of Coke. The Pepsi people built a scale exact replica of their founder, brought it to the campus, and put it face to face, clinking glasses, and took pictures. It's all over social media. I'll post it. And Coke people not that pleased. Literally had security throw the bums out. But there are signs, and there's more billboards. Pepsi has taken out more billboards than any other single advertiser all around Atlanta in the stadium. Guess who's in town?
Wow.
And Pepsi is the official drink sponsor of the NFL. So it's not like the NFL is upset or,
Right. I mean, it's...
We're saying, well, no, you can't put that signage at our pavilions and at our NFL experience and whatever. So it's just been a fun little side story.
I heard that restaurants or bars at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium was told to hide the Coke. And not in 1970s New York style, baby. I mean, literally because the NFL is rolling in with the Super Bowl, they were, told we cannot serve Coca-Cola until this all passes.
I told you I was shooting something that we were going to shoot on an NFL stadium for an artist a few years ago. And the guidelines that the NFL gave were pretty extensive. They were okay with their logos, their players, their umpires, the stadium, everything. The only things they were literally worried about is the show. We were shooting a pilot for TLC. That if TLC's beer advertisers conflicted with the in stadiums. And so if you were shooting the artist, you couldn't have, they didn't want the paid advertisers' billboards being in the shots because, you know,
You have to blur it out.
right. More importantly, they didn't want those advertisers calling them saying, why the fuck am I spending X millions of dollars to advertise inside that stadium and I'm home watching, you know, a competitive beer commercial, like, you know, airing, you know, and the, you know, in between all the commercials and stuff. So they were more worried about that. No, but I think it's a troll level epic by Pepsi.
Well, good for you, Pepsi. You are the choice of a new generation.
So I will not go down this rabbit hole. I will keep it short. I get in the car the other
Can you
morning.
even fit in a rabbit hole at this point?
How big's a rabbit? Let's say if it was like an Easter bunny hole, or I'm trying to think of a big rabbit.
Like a Harvey. That's
Yes. I could fit down that hole.
Right.
Grease me up. Whether I'm going down a hole, grease me up.
Okay.
So I was going to New York the other day. Literally pulled into the gas station, and the dummy light went on. The two of my tire pressures were low. And so I had to go in and get changed to use the air machine because air costs money. Air ain't free, baby. Air ain't free.
Not pressurized air.
And I said to the guy, you know, who's making the change, wearing Patriot garb like I was, and I'm like, hey, you want to call Goodell and tell him that my tires are a little low because of the drop in temperature? Which opened up a quick conversation. An older gentleman is like, goes, dude, you can't worry about that shit. Goes, and then he just went on a quick little thing, goes, the Celtics from the 60s when they were winning 8 championships in 11 and 13 years, Red Auerbach was the biggest cheater in the history of sports. The Montreal Canadiens were always the big, and as soon as he said the Canadiens, I'm like, oh my God. The rumor always was the
Deflated pucks.
Canadiens net. I mean, think about this. So almost every goal that you ever see hits the crossbar of the pipe.
Yeah.
That's an inch different from being a goal. The difference between a goal and technically not a shot on net. If it hits the crossbar of the pipe, it's not considered a shot on net. So the rumor for decades was that the Montreal Canadiens net that they defended 2 periods was an inch shorter and an inch narrower. So for 2 periods, you know, so 1 period they had to shoot on a smaller net than the visiting team had to shoot on a smaller net twice. That was the rumor for decades. And when the guy said that, I'm like, yeah. And then, you know, the whole, even in the 50s, the Yankees were cheaters and stuff like that. And it's like, you know what, old man? Thank you. Because, you know, I'm like, I feel a lot better. It lasts about 5 minutes before I listen to more sports radio. But it's true. It's just.
You got to lay off the sports radio, man.
No, I can't. Well, you know what? By the time this podcast airs, I'm either doing nothing but listening to it or complete media blackout.
I heard that.
But no, it was interesting, you know, to have somebody who, I wasn't around during the Red Auerbach real heyday. I was in the 80s, but it's true. Growing up, and whether he did it or not, there used to be all these stories that they would put the visiting teams in like tiny locker rooms or turn the heat off, or the opposite, turn the heat on in like June
Sweltering.
and stuff like that. Like all these little games when the visiting teams would have the court to practice, like they would blow a fuse and not be able to turn the lights on and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I think he went too far when he put the glass at the rim on it. That was, you know, not acceptable.
And you and I are big fans of Barstool Sports, or I'm a little more.
It's too dude bro-y.
It is too dude, but there are some elements I like the Dave Portnoy have been arrested for protesting Deflategate.
Right, and didn't he get thrown out again this year?
Well, he had a fake ID and badge, and he got in. And
that'll get you thrown out.
Wouldn't technically arrest him because, and like he did his own post getting thrown out interview, like they detained him for a couple hours because they didn't want the media circus that would come with having to.
Right, they didn't want him on the books.
He's looking to play martyr. He
Yeah.
wants that so badly. But it is great. It's great that a couple years ago when the whole Barstool thing started and they threw them out of the Super Bowl, and Comedy Central swooped right in and said, we'll give you a half hour every night of Super Bowl week. And they literally gave them their own show.
You know what I'm noticing about you? as much as you hate MAGA trolls, you love every other troll that's out there, whether it be Pepsi or Portnoy or, any other dick. Anybody that's acting like a complete fucking dick that isn't for Donald Trump.
Would I like Bill Belichick if he was coach of any other team?
No. You would be the biggest cheater on the planet.
But he's our biggest cheater on the planet. How about like all the hockey players I love, like Marchand on the Bruins, the biggest douchebag in hockey. I love the guy. Like, but seriously,
Donald Trump is our president. I'm just watching the blood rush out of your eyeballs right now.
Those are tears. But I can see you making that thing.
You know what I'm saying? So I know. Hey, look, this is a gray area we sort of tread in. We like what we like. And that's it, I guess. We don't just. I guess you do discriminate.
So I like trolls that one giant company trolling another giant company, not maybe one festering hole trolling hardworking people at the airport who already have a really tough job, who had to do their jobs for 5 weeks without getting paid.
Yeah,
there's a difference there.
I guess. Yeah, I mean there is.
Or Dave Portnoy trolling Roger Goodell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For all the pro Goodell people out there,
they're punching up.
Right. Thank you. I like that.
Punching down. I get it now. It's a profit deal. Takes the pressure off.
Well, you really want to be accurate. Okay, so now before we get into Flora's favorite part of the week, which is the random video game review of the week, have you played any games this week? Any new things happening? And
I actually no. I beat Zelda 2 again for the Nintendo Entertainment System.
100% it?
No, because there is a second playthrough, and I haven't finished the second playthrough.
Why are we doing this podcast now?
Right.
We could have waited.
So because it's available on the Nintendo Online service on the Switch. So I have all of these games, and I
finally had time to read.
Exactly. I had time now. It's not fair. It's not fair. So with all of these games at my disposal, what do I go to? The tried and true games that I played when I was 10 years old.
Why do you call ex-girlfriends every time you get dumped? Because the path to least resistance.
So I played Zelda 2 on the Switch, which was originally for Nintendo, and I'm starting Mega Man 11, which came out a couple of months ago, also for the Switch, and it's all right. So aside from that, nothing else matters.
Well,
anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters to me.
The absolute best epic rap battle in history is Frank Sinatra
and Freddie Mercury.
It is. I'm going to go watch as soon as we're done.
Yes.
So
what do you? So we're getting into random?
Yeah. No.
Oh, what do you do?
Random. I'm going to do a review, if I may I have the floor for just this is your thing, but maybe. Shine the spotlight over here because I don't get to talk that much.
No. Let me just hold on. Let me turn the spotlight.
I'm going to give a review in detail about the first half hour of Resident Evil 2, which is all I've got to play. Mm-hmm. Our very good friend, Chris, who did our Resident Evil sideshow, texts me as I'm driving back from New York yesterday. Did you start playing Resident Evil 2 yet? I'm like, I knew the demo was out. Has the game come out? It goes, came out today. I didn't pull over to the next closest GameStop, but I go by one that's near the house. And before I got to the humble abode, yes, I picked it up. And the lady behind the counter, nice young girl, like just trying to be helpful, asks do you want to buy the DLC for this? So I'm like, do you want me to punch you in the face? Of course I do.
Do you have to take it that far?
I didn't.
Okay.
I said, that'd be great, please.
Right.
So she rang me up.
And then she said, do you need help to the door, old man?
The door hit your ass on the way out.
Do you need me to call the ride for you? The ride is an elderly transport service run by the local MBTA.
You don't think our listeners know that?
No.
Talking to you, John. And so I get home, pop it in. I didn't say anything to the boys until it was all loaded because you get all excited. I've learned that before. The new phone book's here. The new phone book's here.
I wish I could get that excited over nothing.
Nothing. But you load in a game and it takes like an hour to load because these games are so massive. And then I called them downstairs and we did. We went through it and it is, and like, I said to Chip Boy upstairs, I'm like, hey, you need to lose to 10 pounds, which he's dead if he does. Yes. I do. If you want to lose 10 pounds, play a little Resident Evil 2. It will scare 10 pounds of shit out of you within the first half hour.
I've played the original Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation, and I couldn't get through the first half hour of the game because I was playing it wrong. I didn't know that you don't have to attack every zombie that comes at you. That probably the best way to do it is to maneuver your way through the zombies, pick up the shotgun, and then, go on your merry way. Now, there is a secret at the beginning of the game where if you go through the first couple of screens, this is the original Resident Evil 2, you don't pick up the shotgun and you go all the way, there's like the bus, and you go further than that. There's like a secret zombie, like a special zombie that appears only if you don't pick up the shotgun. But you have to like go past him, grab a weapon, and then come back, and then blow him away. Then you unlock something in the locker room or in the lot. You know what I'm talking about? There's
not yet. I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm in the police station.
In the police station, there's like a locker that you can't get access to unless you have the special key. You
Right.
get the special key by killing the special zombie, and you don't get to the special zombie or you don't see him. There's like this, I guess, this sort of stretch of corridor that's sort of empty if you play the normal way, and it's like, wow, there's just like an empty corridor here. But if you just go straight there, don't pick up the shotgun, there's a special zombie, and you kill him, get a special key. And then you unlock the cabinet at the police station, the locker, and they're like, a special jacket you can wear, that kind of thing. There's tons of Easter eggs in the original Resident Evil 2, and I think the remake is pretty faithful to those Easter eggs.
So the term you were looking for is spoiler alert.
Whatever. I ain't spoiling nothing.
But I'm committed to not jumping ahead and not, because that's one of the things. I don't know how many times I beat Resident Evil 5 before you find things out like that. It's like, okay, one of the trophies is you have to collect. There's like 50 different kinds of jewels, but 3 of them you can only get in one place, and you would do what you wouldn't think you would ever want to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, exactly that. It's like run past the bad guy, jump on this, grab whatever, and then get out of there. And of all Chris is a really smart kid. We've done a lot of projects together, but the most helpful thing he's ever done in any project is tell me, run. Like that is
run far.
Just run as fast as you can. Like fight as few zombies as you have to.
Because you have to conserve your weapon.
Right.
And your ammunition, rather.
And
yeah. And cardio.
So.
Oh, speaking of which, have you seen the poster, since we're talking about zombies, Zombieland 2?
Oh, really?
Yes. There's like a
cardio. Double tap.
Double tap is the subtitle.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they did the poster, and it's them in the same exact pose as the original poster now. And it's Zombieland 2 or Zombieland Double Tap.
Any regrets?
Well, maybe Garfield. See you on the other side, Ray.
I saw Eddie Van Halen at the Hollywood Bowl.
I forget that.
Oh, how was he? He's a zombie.
Right. I got to watch that movie again. That was such a good movie.
It really, I forget, like a couple zombie things came out around the same time, and it didn't get completely lost in the shuffle.
Right, because I had Shaun of the Dead. And then you had Zombieland.
There was Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead. There's a third one I'm not thinking of that was in around the same thing.
Oh, was it about the boyfriend who was
like
a zombie?
Adventureland or something?
Adventureland was just the Eisenberg, but that had nothing to do with zombies.
I'm trying to think. Either way, it's great. It's worth a
But
second
there is a
view.
sequel coming out, so
by next week's show, I will either have played Resident Evil 50, 60 hours, maybe not have 100% of the game, or barely played it all because I'm watching Super Bowl highlights until my eyeballs fall out, and even Brady calls and says, "All right, Jacques, enough." Yeah, I get it. I'm great. Go to bed.
You staking out a spot on the parade route.
Right. I've only done that one parade.
Right, and for the Bruins.
And that was June 11th.
Yeah, right.
It was a really nice day.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday.
Hey, maybe global warming will grant your wish.
Okay, now with that malarkey out of the way, now it is time for
This Malarkey, the random video game review of the week, brought to you by Loserishness. So Jacques going over to my wall, and I'm going to pretend to talk like an articulate person, but I ain't. He grabbed a game off the Nintendo wall, and it's Mega Man 4. All right. Woo! What a great game this is. No, I mean, why are you going back? Oh, he's going to get the book from Pat Contry, the ultimate Nintendo NES guide, whatever. Mega Man 4, this is a good entry of the Mega Man series. I was playing Mega Man 11 recently. Mega Man 11 is frustrating, and it's not as good as the original Mega Man games. A lot of people who like the Mega Man games from Nintendo, the Nintendo era, the original Mega Man games, like Mega Man's 1, 2, and 3, and then think that 4, 5, and 6 may not have necessarily need to have been made. I disagree. Mega Man 4 is... It adds some, I don't know, it's more of the same. What am I talking about? It's more of the same, but it's good music. If you like that chiptune kind of stuff, which nobody does except me and my son. And it's just, I'm trying to think of the details of Mega Man 4 because they all kind of blend together after the third one. But you get more weapons. If you've ever played a Mega Man game, Mega Man is you're a robot who was made by a good doctor called Dr. Light, and his evil partner, Dr. Wily, went and made these rogue robots that were going to take over the world. And all the rogue robots have their attributes. Like one of one of them would be called Iceman, and the other one called Fireman. They all have man at the end of their names. And you defeat them in their world. Each of them has their own little world. You, as Mega Man, run around blowing up robots with your phaser gun. And then when you defeat the boss, you obtain their weapon. And so now you can shoot fireballs and ice crystals and whatever. So Mega Man 4 has... Each game has 8 bosses. Mega Man 4 has another 8 bosses. And then you defeat Dr. Wily again. And you throw him in jail again. And then he gets out. Like the Joker. You can't keep him down. He's out there making... And he somehow gets funding for 8 more robots for the next game. I don't know, like if he has a super PAC or something where he just...
That dark money comes in.
Yeah, that's where the dark money comes in.
I'm guessing it's the Koch brothers.
Yeah. Or the Pepsi brothers. So let's look here and see what Pat Contry has to say. 4-star game. Nah, I like it. I mean, all of these Mega Man games have 4 stars.
Actually, I was just looking. 1 has 4.5.
Right.
2 has 5.
Yeah, Mega Man 2 is considered the best.
3 has 4.5.
Yeah. Mega Man 2 is considered the best because it's just if you grew up playing these games, the music for Mega Man 2 it just sticks in your head, and it added leaps and bounds over the original. It's kind of like Empire Strikes Back to Star Wars. Like Star Wars was great, but Empire was fucking great. Anyways, Mega Man 4. What does he say? Robotic Mega Man must face the villainous Dr. Cossack. That's right. There's like this Russian doctor. And
remember when Russians used to be the bad guy?
Yeah, back in the old days. And his robot minions in this sequel. Mega Man uses his rusty Mega Buster to blast enemies on the side-scrolling platforming levels. This time out, the Buster can be charged by holding B for a much more powerful blast. That's right. That's what made this. Well, this was a turning point in the Mega Man legacy. So, it's a really good game. I don't know how you can play it nowadays. Oh no, you know what you can do.
Come over here.
You can come here, or you can pick up the Mega Man Legacy Collection, which is on the Switch and PS4 and all that stuff.
Or you can come over here.
Yeah, just live in my basement. I don't care. I need a friend. All right, so that's Mega Man 4, kinda. And then how much would I pay for it? Who knows?
Yeah, I do, and I like a guess.
I'm gonna say this is a pretty popular. It's as the Mega Man games went on, like Mega Man's 4, 5, and 6 became more rare because they weren't they were later in the lifespan of the Nintendo, so their collectability has gone up. I'm going to say for cartridge alone, probably a $20 game.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's the lowest I found it.
Yeah, $18. Yeah.
You know, I found a case just for $9, just the case alone.
Yeah.
You know, for $9. Yeah, so $17.99 plus $5 shipping. So you're pretty much right on there.
Yeah,
you know.
So the only game I'm missing from the original Mega Man 6 games is Mega Man 6 for the Nintendo.
Why are we even doing this? Why aren't we?
I need that to fund sponsor money, baby. That's why.
We running another one. All right. Are you watching anything this week? What has been taking your eyeballs?
What have I been watching? I don't know. Just my life passed before my eyes. You?
I could not more highly recommend watching the recap shows on NFL Network, the previous 5 Super Bowl wins by the Patriots.
Snore.
They have all the recaps, but I'm more inclined to watch a certain 5 over and over. It's like a big sweater that just keeps knitting and knitting. That's my Pee Wee Herman. I apologize.
I'm glad you did that, Pee Wee Herman. So, but good for you.
But that's it, dude. Nothing else.
I know,
I haven't. Nothing.
I regret asking you what you were watching this week.
And I might have a full recap of something else.
I did know. I know now.
Hey,
jog a memory.
Yeah.
The final 10 episodes or 8 episodes of Kimmy Schmidt. It's the final season. They finally released it. I pinged them. I've binged them all, and I laughed out loud a lot.
Little guy, the older little guy, was watching this week. So it was on in the background, and I caught a bit. And
it's fucking funny.
I've never seen it and not thought, this is pretty good.
It's 30 Rock. But it's the same exact kind of stuff. And it's just like their jokes about television and the industry are like, and New York are just like so like TV nerd oriented, you know, like they're just, and like even their throwaway gags are like, you know, there's no way that they didn't work, 20 hours writing that gem of a joke. They can't just keep shitting this stuff out.
And what is the actual name of the show? The Unbreakable?
It's Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And yeah, it's a great. There's a part where like I was like, wow, like there's a puppet dick involved in one of the episodes because this Sesame Street puppet named Mr. Frumpus. It's Sesame Street adjacent. Okay. It's not really Sesame Street. This Sesame Street
more like Q Avenue.
Avenue Q, right. But it's a show that's like Sesame Street that's been on for 50 years. But he has like Harvey Weinstein allegations against him, for molesting, actors who worked with him on the show. So and it's a puppet.
There's a dick puppet.
No, it's a puppet. Who you see.
You see his dick.
Yes, you see his dick. It's just like he comes on to one of the main characters on the show. And
see where our president is a puppet that is a dick.
And it was orange. And
orange. That's great.
Yeah, anyways.
And by great, I mean...
Go watch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt if you want to laugh.
Dick puppets.
If you like to laugh at puppet dick. Now, it's not a dick puppet. It's
I get it.
A puppet dick. Puppet dick.
No, see, they can't see the pantomime.
Puppet dick. This is more for you. Here's a puppet. Here's
a dick.
Yes. Now, a dick puppet, sure, later.
Parenting tip.
Marry somebody who's a better parent.
Who goes out of town and lets your buddies come over and hang out, but you don't tell your buddies? Fail, Joe. Fail.
I figured you were knee deep in the shit that is your life right now. And I didn't you have stuff to do this week? Weren't you driving around, gallivanting?
One day to New York and back.
Oh, okay. Well, aren't you running faulty towers over there? Aren't you Basil Faulty for the
flowery twats?
Flowery twats. Anyways,
so my parenting tip is like, to do father stuff together, like. The Patriots mean a lot to me. I don't know if that's ever come across. And man, I would like my boys to at least pretend to have an interest for a second. And it's been a battle, it's been a battle worth fighting to the point where I've told the youngest one, to get him not only to watch the game, but to really be invested, to really focus, to really scream at each and every play like his life depended on it, is if the Patriots win, he can take a day off school next week. Now, it's February in Boston. There's a good chance there's a snow day coming up.
I think there's a whole week off in February, if I'm not mistaken.
But you know, for like 2 months, he's been asking. He just wants to take a day off now and then. And you know what? In the words of Ferris Bueller, sometimes you just got to say, "What the fuck?" No, that's risky business.
Sometimes if you don't, you got to stop and smell the roses. Sometimes because life comes at you pretty fast. If you don't stop and smell the roses, life comes at you pretty fast. If you don't stop to look around once in a while, you might miss it.
So that's Ferris Bueller. And then risky business is sometimes you just got to say, what the fuck? So I'm going to let him take a day off anyways. But that will get him invested into watching the game with Papa.
You know who else had snow days?
Snowflakes.
1970s New York City, baby.
Oh. Why do I have to go on Grindr when I have love right here?
Grinders for... Anyway, what's our closing song? Are we done here?
Oh, yeah, we're done. I think our closing song should be, let's say, just randomly off the top of my head, maybe go with Asshole Neighbor by Fivehead.
Oh, as sung by Troy McClure or by Fivehead?
If I could get John to send me the tracks and put your vocals in, honestly...
Yeah, just send me the right.
I think he'd be very happy. But for this week, we'll go out with this version.
Okay, so here's Fivehead, Asshole Neighbor. Take it away, boys.
Wait, first of all, please don't forget.